This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
What's going on, everyone? It is I, the Kingpin, on another episode of Wrestling with Tragedy with my co-host, Pierce Austin. I'm pretty excited. Oh, absolutely, brother. Today, we're going to be talking about the legend hardcore icon. What's his name? Nick Gage?
MDK all fucking day.
Today. Yeah, man. We're going to talk about this gentleman, about his wrestling career, and also about his... how can I explain it? His drug addiction and his infamous bank robbery with no mask. Hey, Piers, I'm going to be honest 100%. Don't know the guy, never seen him wrestle. I heard about him, but I never seen him. I don't know too much about his career because he never interested me. But before we go any further, I definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Let's throw these sponsors up there so we can give them pause for the cause, you say?
Take a quick pause for the cause to let us know about some of those sponsors. First up is smartcups.com. Angel, these are your boys, man. These are the guys that get your day started every day. So why don't you take over from this one, brother?
Absolutely, brother. Smartcups.com is one of the greatest drinks I ever came across. I built a relationship with them. If you're waking up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed and jump out of bed and get ready for work, definitely go to smartcups.com. Their drinks are no preservatives, all natural. That's something that you can just definitely get yourself going. If you don't want coffee in your life, if you don't want the hard crash, smartcups.com is the place to go if you need that quick jolt to get out of bed or start your day right for a workout. Smartcups.com. Kingpin approved, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby. And let's not forget about our next sponsor, a sponsor that we actually work for, the MWA Podcast Network. We're killing the business. Angel's second show and my second show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You can find those on YouTube and on Twitch. And coming up is going to be on Spotify and all your podcast platforms. We got amazing shows there, such as Get Funked with former WCW star Kiwi Alan Funk. And also Knights of the Gimmick Table, baby, with none other than the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider, two guys that were trained by Johnny Rods, been big names on the Northeast independent circuit for 20 plus years?
Absolutely, man.
MWA Podcast Network is where it's at, and we appreciate the sponsorship from them. Thank you, guys. Let's get into it, Angel.
All right. Just wanted to make sure we didn't have any other sponsors popping up before, but absolutely. Brother, let's just talk about this guy, man. I mean, Nicholas William Wilson, born September 22nd, 1980, also known as Nick Gage. He was from an organization called Game Changer Wrestling.
Game Changer Wrestling. So he actually started out as one of Zandig's boys in CCW back in 1998. He was one of the original guys for that organization. Him and his brother Chris Wilson, better known as Justice Payne, were two of the main guys that came in there and really got that promotion off the ground. And, many say CZW was that company that was kind of filled that void for ECW fans because, they started when ECW was still in existence, but, they carried the ball for Extreme, if you will, once ECW went out of business, and they did it for quite a long time. They drew a lot of big crowds, and, Nick became one of the top guys at CZW.
Oh, I understand. CZW is a good company. I mean, it has a great following. I've seen some matches there. I mean, there's some stuff I saw with like weed whackers and scissors and hypodermic needles. I mean, not my forte anymore, but it was something that definitely took the fans to the next level in regards to extreme wrestling, and it definitely, like you said, had to fill the void after ECW left. But Nick Gage, man, I mean, this guy just appeared on AEW. I mean, that was just something that just threw me off, especially with his history of what he's done, his drug addiction, and his criminal activities. And like I said before, everybody needs a second chance, and stuff like that. It's just that, in business, why would you invest in something knowing that it has a bad light on it, especially with this cancer culture, especially, you're always getting called out for the stuff that you've done in the past. I'm surprised nobody's frowning on it besides Jim Cornette and a couple of people in professional wrestling.
But you mentioned CZW, and I think now the company's probably looked at it a completely different light than what it did 20 years ago when its inception was. Now it's definitely not held at the same light. Game Changer Wrestling, which Nick Gage works for majority of the time, is a promotion that it really seems to be doing a lot of things right, in the indies, and pretty much the biggest indie in America, in my view. And also probably I'd say almost the biggest indie in the world as far as its notoriety and being well known. But getting into Nick Gage was one of those guys who was started out as a backyard wrestler. Started putting up barbed wire around his trampoline, him and his brother, and started doing crazy shit. And a lot of the stuff that they were inspired by was like ECW, FMW, the stuff that Cactus and Terry Funk did over in Japan. And I think that probably sparked a generation that we saw in those early 2000s, early 90s of deathmatch wrestlers coming into the business and trying to take it to another level. Because like at that time, like we started seeing guys like bringing out like, they had a guy called Wife Beater who used to bring out a weed whacker. They started doing stuff with fluorescent light tubes. Fire became more of a prominent thing as well, like dragging motherfuckers around on broken glass. And it was, for me, I found that stuff in wrestling magazines as a 17-year-old and as a teenager and full of angst and stuff like that. That stuff appealed to me. I was like, whoa, this is fucking cool, because that was the time where extreme was one of the most popular things in professional wrestling. And I was hook, line, and sinker, bought into it. Now, Nick Gage, as a performer, we were just sort of discussing, we're going through and watching a couple of Nick Gage matches before this started. Nick has been a consistent performer over the last 20 years, except for his stint that he did in jail. But looking, let's start breaking down a couple of things, first off, because we have been speaking about the deathmatch side of things, Angel. But I did show you the clip and it was at Tournament of Death 7, where he was facing another wrestler by the name of Thumbtack Jack from Germany. They did a spot where Thumbtack Jack threw Nick Gage through the ropes, and the ropes had the fluorescent light tubes around them. And in doing so, when he went through there, one of the light tubes broke in a weird way and pierced him just under the armpit and hit an artery. And sorry, Angel, go.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just thinking, but the funny thing is, before we get into that, I mean, it's just funny how you say he started in backyard wrestling, which I detest. Backyard wrestling is something that is just basically, this is what it is. The King, everybody knows the Kingpin done all the hardcore matches and stuff like that. Yeah. I have nothing against these type of death matches. It's just that doing it for free in your backyard, risking your life, breathing in the toxic from the fluorescent light bulbs. Once that stuff gets in your lungs, that causes issues. And of course, as the years go on, your body starts deteriorating because of the injuries that you sustained in these death matches that you didn't get paid for. So you have nothing to prove, nothing to show for it at the tail end. It just reminds me of Jackass. When Jackass first started, you're like, oh, why is these idiots, doing themselves doing this to themselves, to their body? But of course, now they became famous and made buku money. And now they live, but of course, a lot of them have sustained permanent injuries. Like Johnny Knoxville had to wear a catheter for a year because of his injuries. His hip is all jacked up. The guy's he's 49, just like me. So he's in constant pain, but of course he's famous. But at the end of the day, he can say, you know what?
Fuck it. I got paid.
Now back to the infamous, fluorescent light bulbs under the armpit match. Yeah, that's fucking scary, man. Especially when you fucking hit that major artery and fucking that shit's gushing out, and you're like, fuck, I mean, that's when I start fucking realizing, shit, I did this for fucking free or for fucking $50, and
But when he started doing backyard wrestling, he was a kid, right? So like when we're kids, we're teenagers, we do some dumb shit. Yeah. He broke into wrestling started training at I think 19 or 18 years of age. So as soon as he became a legal adult, he was straight into the business.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about that match and we see that what actually happened. And one of the things like I just want to break down, like I am still kind of I am a deathmatch fan. I'll say it. I enjoy watching it as long as it makes some sort of sense storyline wise, and it's for a payoff for something. That's where where I've changed from it. Whereas like when I was a kid, I'd watch it and you'd be like, yeah, like I want to see people fuck each other up. But now as an adult, it's like, and more probably in tune with the wrestling business, I look at it and go, you know what? If it's a payoff for a storyline or a feud or a big blow off match, then it makes sense. Fuck yeah, do that shit. But don't sit there and hack and slash each other. Don't walk around the fucking ring with your fucking blade gigging yourself. Still hold yourself to a high standard of wrestling. Be a good professional wrestler and incorporate the gimmicks when needed.
No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, these type of matches are just very detrimental to your career. I mean, I saw a match years ago with, oh my God, this is early in the morning. Oh my God, what's his name? He's barefoot. He wrestled in
Necro.
Thank you, appreciate it. Necro Butcher, nice guy. Met him, very intelligent individual. Guy's way younger than me, but anyway, I saw a match where they put a pane of glass in the corner and he ran into it, and of course, he covered his face and boom, he hit, and it took a chunk out of his arm. I mean, you could literally see the like. I mean, it's like the way it just sliced into him and the piece of meat just came off, so you could see the meat. And I thought you could see the bone. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. And then he's walking barefoot. That's the weird thing, man. I mean, walking barefoot on glass and fluorescent light bulb pieces and stuff. The dude's bottom feet must look like calloused, stuff. But I got pictures of him and he's standing next to me and he's just old. Like he looks really, really old.
He looks like he's about fucking 80, man. Like I saw him. I didn't see him at the show, but I saw a clip of him at a show. I think it was like 2019, 2020. And homie looks like really fucking old, bro. But getting back into the Nick Gage story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This guy, at the incident where it happened at the location, they couldn't get an ambulance to him. So they had to get a helicopter to fly in and pick him up. And he was pretty much at some stage, he died during that process and came back to life.
Yeah, you said like 8 minutes, right?
Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 minutes. But one of the things I wanted to say, Angel, like we saw the incident, we saw it happen, right? So straight after the incident, he's fucked. Like he knew he was fucked. Like from the moment it happened and he landed, I mean, you see like, oh shit, this is I'm seriously hurt. Then he gets up and he walks to the back. And like he's getting fixed up. They've got other guys running around the ring trying to keep the show going or whatever. And even in the footage, he's laying there getting like putting a towel in there going, oh, we got to get you a hospital. He's like, nah, let me back out there. I'll fuck him up. MDK all fucking day. Let me out there. I'll fuck him up.
First of
if
all,
he was really that much of a badass, would he have even gone back to the, you know what I mean? Like, I get that incident would have like scared the fuck out of everybody, if you see yourself like pissing out blood like that. But do you think he was then playing that shit up for the camera? Like, do you think he was working?
No, but I bet you he didn't know how serious it was. I mean, remember the situation with Terry fucking Sabu when he jumped over, did his spot and he cut himself on the barbed wire and he looked at his arm like, holy, he looked at Fonzie like, and he's talking because he knew he fucked up and he took tape and he wrapped his arm and he continued going because he didn't know how serious it was. The thing is that when the adrenaline's going, you're fucking, oh yeah, let's keep going because you don't know how, I mean, it's serious, but you're like, keep pushing forward, I could push through this. So I think he was serious about getting back in the ring because he didn't know the severity, how serious it was. You just thought it was just a massive cut and it was bleeding a lot, so it was serious enough, but not enough to say, oh my God, I cut an artery, because you don't know. It's not going to say, oh shit, you cut an artery. He just thought he just really cut himself bad and he can continue with the match. I mean, that's common sense. I mean, that's any wrestler's mindset.
But you look at the abuse that he would have taken through his body, and then starts to get addicted to painkillers, starts to get addicted to drugs. And he was also, from what we found out, he was addicted to heroin because that was cheaper than the pain medicine. And was able to get more out of it. So you put yourself through that much punishment, you put yourself through that much pain. Surely it's only a matter of time before you find yourself like on the gimmicks, right? Just to sort of get some sort of relief to get you through to the next match or to let you sleep at night.
Well, the thing about it is that he was already, I mean, basically, like, he was already hooked on the gimmicks because that's a bad habit you get from the boys, especially, through the locker room. Pills, to continue, so you don't feel anything. No guys who used to shoot up New Bane so they couldn't feel nothing, or, I need something to get the edge off so I can, just raw or just tear up in the ring. I seen it, but I'd never done it. I was never addicted to pain pills or any other. I never took any narcotics like coke and heroin and all that stuff. It was just not my forte because I played smart in the ring. I knew how to play smart. DeVito knew how to play smart. Yeah, I popped a couple gimmicks here and there when I really got hurt, but I never got addicted to it and never needed it. So, I mean, again, if you're going to do those type of matches, I'm not saying that, if you do those type of matches, you're going to get hooked on the drugs. But, yeah, you're going to be like, man, either you're going to be like, I need something because my back hurts, my knee's not working right, my elbow's fucked up. I need something to get the edge off, man, so I can continue to go on with this match. So, I seen it done,
It's just one of those things, man. Like, hearing his story and seeing the dark side of the ring, and Nick Gage is someone I know a fair bit about, just because, like I said, I've been a huge fan of those companies that he's worked for over the years, and enjoyed his work when I was throughout the years. But his drug addiction led him to being homeless, to being kicked out on the street. Like where people pretty much were just like turning their back on him. Because of like his addictions and because of everything that he's gone through, and we see like, I don't like, you look at the bank robbery incident for a prime example, man. Like,
it's funny. I mean, before you go with that, the reason, if you're wondering why I was laughing when you say the guy was homeless, and the first vision I had popping in my head is him and fucking Saturn under a bridge, fucking over a roaring fire with a cup of coffee, shit, fucking out of the ring together. Like, hey, brother, you want some coffee? You're both homeless, both on heroin, so, both on the gimmicks. But anyway, go ahead.
But that's the thing. Like, you look at the thing of the bank robbery, like going in there, it didn't sound like, from what was explained, from what he said in interviews, and from the footage that we've been able to see about it, that there was no clear plan of him going in there. Like, it wasn't a smart, thought out process of what he decided to do. He even said, he walked past one bank and then he walked in and then he pussied out and was like, fuck, I'm going to fucking, and he was G'ing himself up. And then by the time he got to the next bank, he walked in there, walked up to one of the counter, not the counters where the tellers are, got a piece of paper, wrote down, I got a gun, put the money, give me the fucking money, then goes over to the cashier, hands it to her. And
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you know what was written on the note?
Give me I have a gun, give me the money.
He didn't say, hey, I have a gun, MDK all fucking day.
No, he did. No, he did not. But anyway. So he had the gun. He gave the note, and they started handing over the money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the money, he was standing there, and he was like going, hurry up, hurry. And he's even said he was probably one of the nicest fucking bank robbers until he saw her reaching down, and he goes, she thought she was going to hit the screamer, right? The silent screamer. Yeah. So that's when he sort of like spooked himself and gone, fuck, and gone to get out of there. What was later found out through the trial, she was actually reaching for the safe for 10 grand that she was going to give him. Like, I think he got like 3 grand out of it, but he could have got an extra 10 G's, but he thought she was going for the screamer. She was going for the safe. He gets out there, gets the fuck out of the bank. Now, mind you, right, he robs the bank with his face uncovered. Now, Angel, I'm not like, let me explain something to you. Nick Gage, when he comes to the ring, he wears a fucking bandana around his face like he's a fucking like old school cowboy, like gangster, whatever it is you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like that sort of style. But when he actually goes to rob a fucking bank, he doesn't bring his bandana. You know what I mean? Like you got to think like that's why I say like it was not a very thought out crime. It wasn't planned out very well. It was very much like spare of the moment, because if you're going to go rob a bank, why would you go in there with your face fully exposed?
Because because that's all he cared about is getting his fix. He didn't, like you said, he didn't think it through. He needed that fix. He needed the money. He didn't have money to get his drugs. So the first thing he came up with is robbing a bank. And what he did was the most fucking stupidest thing that he ever done. The funny thing about robbing a bank nowadays, this ain't the 30s, this ain't the 50s, this is not even the 60s where you could go into a bank and just rob it and just take off. Now with this technology, you can't get away with this anymore, man. I mean, I don't even know where he fucking came up with this idea to like rob this bank, thinking he was going to get away with it. I know that, but that's what I'm saying. There's so many other avenues where he could have robbed the liquor store, could have broke into, anything. I mean, broke into those self car washes where you don't have anybody, has tons of cash in there. I mean, it's just he didn't think it through, of course, and he needed his fix, and that was the first thing that popped in his head.
And in that as well, straight after the bank robbery, he goes straight to Brett Lauderdale's house. Who's
Brett Lauderdale?
He's the owner of Game Changer Wrestling, but he was also a referee at CZW at the time. He's been close with Nick for a long time. So Nick's gone to Brett's house. He goes, "Hey, look what I got." Dumps the fucking money on the counter. Brett's going, "These are crisp fucking fresh notes. What did you do? Rob a bank?" And Nick's like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But Nick even has stated, he goes, "Man, I went to Atlantic City, took his lady. They went and partied for a week, and just spent money." And, he was in contact with Lauderdale, and Lauderdale said, he's like, I'd call him. "Are you ready to come home? No, and turn yourself in?" "No, not yet." And then one day he's like, "Yeah, I am." Brett went to Atlantic City, picked him up, drove him back, got him a burger and a 40, and then took him to the police station. But what's interesting about it is like the fans are the ones that turned him in, because like they put the photo of him out saying, "Do you know this man for robbing a bank?" And wrestling fans are going, "That's Nick fucking Gage. He's a pro wrestler. That's Nick fucking Gage." Again, because he didn't cover his face, he's gone in there. And that's why I say, like, you can't be of sound mind to go and do something like that and not have you know what I mean? Like, and not think, okay, like, how am I going to cover myself in this? Like, that's why, like, his mental state, what do you think that would have? It could have been an idiot, but let's talk about the mental state, Angel. What mental state do you think he could have been in?
He was a fucking drug addict, man. He needed his fix. His mental state was not even all there, man. All he cared about was getting high. I mean, of course, this was in 2010, and he did it like right before New Year's, like December 30th, I think it was, and the thing was is that or was it on the whatever? It doesn't matter, man. It was during the Christmas time, and I mean, I just don't understand what was going through his mind. I mean, it's just a travesty, especially if you're a worker, if you're a well-known professional athlete, and you said you didn't cover his face. Fans knew who he was. The fans turned him in. I'll be pissed off as well. It's like, "Damn, man, I thought you're my fans. So why would you turn me in? Fucking snitches." I just think it was funny, man. I mean, but his mental state, I mean, he needed his fix. He did not care what was the outcome of it. It was not thought out right. And he just got, how much was the total when he threw all the money on the bed? Well, you say he got $3,000.
It was approximately $3,000. So following the robbery, as I said, him and his girlfriend went to Atlantic City, and then he surrendered himself to the authorities. They're saying that it was on December 30th, 2010, and then he surrendered himself on the December 31st. I don't believe that's correct, but
I just thought it was about New Year's.
Yeah, so on March 15th, 2011, he pleaded guilty to second-degree robbery, and on April 29th was sentenced to 5 years in prison. That guilty plea was part of an agreement for a lesser sentence.
What, he got like 5 years?
Yeah, he got 5. He was eligible for parole in 2015 after serving 85% of his 5-year sentence.
But then what was it like? They said like he had to pay restitution to the bank and also to the girl that he robbed. What fucking money? The guy didn't even have money to fucking piss in. So where the fuck he's gonna get his money for paying restitution?
Well, he was released in April in 2015.
He fucked it up too.
Yeah, so he he violated his parole and was reincarcerated. And then he was he was also scheduled to be it was supposed to be for an event, the Nick Gage Invitational that Game Changer was going to do, because what they were planning on doing for Game Changer was building their company around this guy, building it around Nick Gage. And the show that was actually named after him, he wasn't able to be there because he got arrested. And then then he didn't even get released until November 2016. And then, as you said, he was ordered to pay compensation to both the bank and the female employee from who he demanded the money. So let me ask you this, Angel, like the female employee, would that be a civil case or would that be a criminal case? Because it's
no,
you know what I mean? It would have to be.
Yeah, I mean, no, but sometimes in the court they will tell you have to pay restitution. But again, where is he getting his money? He don't have any money. I mean, and even if he didn't have any money, then they will get it later. So whatever money he makes later, they will garnish his wages. So let's say, for example, it was I don't know, let's say $70,000 that you had to pay the victim, and you don't have any money. So then you just pay him little by little, pennies, whatever you make. You're flipping burgers or whatever. Then you get to like AEW, using that as an example. Man, they'll take a big chunk of that, unless you're getting paid cash under the table, cash money,
money,
So that's the thing. So I don't know. AEW is going to be paying them in a check or something like that in some form or fashion, but everything else he's probably getting under the table, so he doesn't have to pay restitution.
I mean, like, he's an independent professional wrestler. Like, I'm guessing the indies pay cash in hand to all their workers,
cash.
right? Yeah,
so you get paid cash.
So I don't believe he works in any other type of job, but
maybe he delivers pizza with Man Pondo.
Who knows, man? Maybe, but
PDK all day.
But we look at what was going on, around that time before the robbery, Angel. Like, he had like matches around that time which were just because he wasn't mentally there. Like, even one match which was highlighted in Dark Side of the Ring, his brother, who wrestled as Justice Payne, started like shooting on him, like just started punching him, like, wake the fuck up, like, because, and even Nick Gage said, he goes, I just couldn't remember how to do shit because he was that fucked up.
It's like the Briscoes, man. They used to go at it all the time, but I don't know their life story, but those guys are brothers and they used to beat the shit out of each other when they used to get mad at each other. So it's freaking funny.
But, and that's the thing, man, like with Nick Gage and his whole story, it's one of those things because he now has a reputation in the industry, and it's almost like a cult following, that he has, with MDK and I said earlier, I honestly think he's probably one of the most over guys on the indies. And
but what does he have to show for it? What does he have to show for it? Oh yeah, he's an over guy, big whoop. But financially, all the stuff he's done, he's a hardcore legend or whatever he is, but it has nothing, not a pot to piss in.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, main companies like WWE, there's no way that they would bring in a Nick Gage. They wouldn't even bring in New Jack during the Attitude Era and just after the Attitude Era. Now being a PG rated company, they're going to bring in Nick fucking Gage. No way. And the only reason AEW brought him in, like, let's be real. The only reason they brought him in is because Dark Side of the Ring did really good numbers on Nick Gage.
You sure about that?
I would say so. Like, why else would they bring him in? Why else would they bring him in?
I don't know. Maybe he's good friends with somebody in the back. Let me explain something to you about this gentleman. I have nothing against him. I don't know him from fucking Adam. And and what do you call him? You call him a hardcore legend?
Yeah, deathmatch legend, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Just remember this philosophy, and I learned this from fucking Floyd Mayweather. You can't eat off legacy, but you can eat off currency. And that's something that and that guy just living off. He's living off his accolades, and people are like, hey, let me buy you a drink. Hey, let me pay for your meal. That's what his career is stemmed to. No investment, no nothing. I mean, look, we definitely need to do one on Perry Saturn too, because this kind of falls in the same type of category. But I mean, this guy, I mean, I got to watch the Dark Side of the Ring. I'm not going to lie to these fans and tell them, like, I know who this Nick Gage is. I seen the Dark Side of the Ring. And nope, I did it. And now you intrigue me because this guy, and also you're shitting on your profession. You're so high in the ring that you don't even know what to do, that you can't function. And then you're slapping your dick in the fan's face who paid good money to see you because they respect you as this legend. So now you're shitting on your legacy as well. I mean, the guy is, to me, is nobody. The only reason he's famous is because of his death matches, but his death matches weren't even safe either because that's why he cut his arm.
But that's the thing, man. Like a lot of top name guys, like from the indies, want to work with fucking Nick Gage. Like we saw David Arquette, want to get in there and wrestle with Nick Gage. He wanted to do a death match, and David Arquette, I think, didn't really realize what he had gotten himself into in going into that match.
Let me ask you a question. Just same thing. Do you know who Tom Sizemore is?
No.
The actor from he was in Saving Private Ryan. He always played the gay. He's a great actor. Great actor. Yeah. I admire him as an actor. But the dude had a fucking bad drug problem. He fell off the wagon. That's why he wasn't doing major movies anymore, because of his drug issues. Now he's doing like B movies, appearances and stuff like that. If I was an actor, I'd be like, man, I want to perform with Tom Sizemore because he is a hell of an actor and he is a legend in the film industry. But his career is shit because of what he'd done in the past, and he put a stain on himself in this business. But anyway, regardless, it's just Nick Gage is a name, man. Cactus Jack is a name. Apples and oranges. It's just somebody that you could say, hey, I wrestled Man Pondo. Oh man, it'd be a great match just to wrestle that wrestling legend. It's like wrestling the Sandman. I got hit in the face with a fucking cane, almost broke my nose. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Sandman. It's just another notch in your belt. That's all it is. If you're gonna do a hardcore death match, who are you gonna do it with? Nick Gage, right? That's what David Arquette's thinking. Yeah, that's all.
And like that's the thing. Like in the match, though, they had a planned spot with a light tube, and David Arquette freaked out in that spot and turned to pretty much double leg takedown Nick Gage, and the broken light tube split and it pierced the side of his neck. And
Pierced
again,
his neck, Arquette?
David Arquette's neck. Yeah.
Is this in his documentary?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so
I'll watch it today. I got a lot of TV to watch.
Man, and like it slices his neck. Like Gage freaks out. Arquette freaks out, rolls out of the ring. He's got his hand over his neck. His neck is like bleeding profusely. He gets back in the ring. They finish the match, and then David Arquette goes off.
But do you see what you just? And you answered your own question. Cut his fucking neck, freaking out, but he continued the match because he didn't think it ain't that bad. It's just a bad cut. But you don't know if you fucking cut an artery, but in your mindset, you're like, I'm fine. I'm still walking. I'm still breathing. So I guess I'm okay. That's all it is, man. It's just your adrenaline's going and you think you can still go.
But do you think that botch with David Arquette could have happened to any wrestler in that spot? Because when we look at it and we see, the incident happen, like Arquette's on the ground. Gage is standing behind him. With one leg over his thing like that, he's holding up his head and got the light tube like that and into his forehead. But Arquette's freaked out, gone like that, and then that's when the light tube has sliced the side of his neck.
Regardless of what I feel about those type of matches, it's still an art form, and you still have to perform. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to have trust in your opponent until you can't trust them. With Nick Gage doing that and he's working the gimmick in the forehead, I wouldn't freak out. I mean, why would I freak out? It's not in my eyes. But that shows the inexperience of David Arquette because he just like, oh, this guy's got whatever. I don't know what was going through his mind that he freaked out. What was the reason he freaked out? Don't know. So maybe he was just saw the blood, whatever. I really don't know what was his mindset for him to freak out and pull away and cut himself on the neck to make it worse. So it's an art form, man, regardless of how I feel that it's garbage and I'm just not into it anymore. It's just something that's still an art that you have to master and make it look believable without sustaining any massive injury that will prevent you from working for other shows. So yeah.
But it's also the art of illusion, right? Like that's what professional wrestling is. And deathmatch wrestling shouldn't be any different than obviously the extra gimmicks and the weapons and everything they got in there as well. Art of illusion. Not like I'm sure those weapons, all those weapons can really seriously fucking hurt you. But if you're a smart worker and you know how to work around them, you know what I mean? Like you could make them look a lot fucking nasty than what it really is.
Put it this way, man. I mean, like you absolutely hit the nail on the head, man. The art of illusion. It's like putting a rubber band around the base of your dick. It makes it look fatter. The art of illusion. You give it that little, like, ooh, what is this? And then you see the rubber band. Oh, it's a trick.
That's a trap.
You're lying. It's not really fat. It's just the blood stuck there. Hey, it's just all how you present it, man. And like you said, it's an art of an illusion. Yeah. But remember, just like in magic, when you do a dangerous stunt, if you don't do it right, and it's an art, and you can get hurt, like from knives to saws and all that stuff in the magic show. So again, it's art of illusion, man. And if you don't do it right, it's going to cost you some serious harm.
I think David Arquette in that match was out of his fucking element.
I like David Arquette.
I like him too. Like he's a goofy fuck, right? Like he's just a goofy fucking dude. He looks like he'd be a cool guy to just hang out with and have a couple of beers with. But as far as like the Nick Gage thing, like I've seen interviews where they went out there, they met with him, and they had dinner with him. He explained it, and Nick Gage was saying to him, he was like, "You realize that we use real glass, real thumbtacks. Like this shit is like we're not using gimmicked shit here. This is not the movies. Like yes, this is professional wrestling, but we add the most realism to it with the fucking glass and all the gimmicks involved in it." And apparently David Arquette was like, "Yeah, I know, I'm keen to do it." Like.
Hey, man, but you got to give the guy credit, man. He wants to be respected in business and he wants to do these things. And, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but it's funny how once you start seeing your own blood and stuff and you start seeing the other things, that's when you fucking asshole puckers. It just depends on the individual. So, I mean, he's just trying to get his respect in the ring.
I get it, man. But, even now, like seeing Nick Gage coming out to being on AEW, like you just saw the footage, Angel. Like, would you say that he got the pop, like, oh my God, like a massive pop coming out there? Not really. Like, probably the bigger pop came from, a lot of the people that are deathmatch fans that weren't in attendance on social media. And that's the thing. Nick Gage is, definitely an icon. He's definitely someone, in that, deathmatch genre of wrestling who is probably one of the most respected people in deathmatch wrestling.
He's an icon in the independent circuit that he's known for. But if you he's only known to people of like wrestling enthusiasts, and guys who just like love wrestling and follow the wrestling and know everything about wrestling. So, even the people that are not even worth it, he's like, I need to know this. Look at put it this way. I mean, if you have the eye for Jim Cornette, who, you despise, and I think sometimes he's an idiot, but sometimes he has a valid point. And like you said, when he was shitting on AEW for bringing in Nick Gage, he had a valid point, and then he was right. I mean, it's just killing the business. And for what reason would you bring this drug addict back to the fold of wrestling?
I honestly think, because I know John Moxley is pretty tight with him, and they were they had a lot of matches, in the mid 2000s over in CCW, and they're friends, man. He's Moxley's looking out for his buddy, giving his buddy a call into a spot. I don't think he's definitely not going to be a regular on AEW television. Like it's just not going to happen. I would be surprised if they move forward and they have Nick Gage on a full-time contract. I just don't see it happening. But on that, Angel, let me ask you this, right? In the situation between Chris Jericho and MJF, who's the heel and who's the babyface?
I don't know. In this time and age, you don't know who the heel.
It's MJF. MJF is the plainest day baby is the heel here. Right. He comes out, cuts a heel promo, then announces Nick Gage. Nick Gage then comes out and almost like he's pandering the crowd to try and get a babyface reaction. It didn't make sense. You've got like your strong heel, your biggest heel in the company, and then you introduce having him bring someone out, and that person's trying to get a babyface reaction. You know, like they should. To me, they should have done it completely differently. Completely differently. Have MJF come out, stared down, like Nick Gage come out slowly. You know, have the fucking the thing over his mouth, staring down MJF, turn his head, look at Jericho, then pull out that pizza cutter, like put it up in the air like that, do the fucking throat slice fucking thing, and then go off air. You know what I mean? Like, do less. Like he's doing like pandering to the crowd for that babyface pop.
I don't know, dude. I mean, regardless of the fact that, I mean, like you said, John Moxley's his boy, and he's helping out a brother. I mean, that's what it is. That's what I visually see it. Is it a smart thing to do? No, not really. Is it something that he feels loyal to the guy? Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. I just don't think it was a smart thing to do. He is not a known. I mean, yeah, you could promote anything. You know, who was that guy? Oh, shit. The guy Chris Jericho brought in that he knew for years. That is his boy. Started in the business.
I know the guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, see. Yeah, same thing. But he brought him in because that's his boy.
Yeah, and they have the opportunity to, those guys are in the position to do that, bring in their boys, give them a little bit of a spot that they wouldn't have ever gotten before.
Let me explain something to you. If I had a show like AEW and I was the boss, and I brought in Pierce Austin, and I said
that'd be a good decision.
Absolutely, but I go Pierce Austin, hardcore legend from Australia, known for his, this is promoted right on TV, known for his savagery. You think Sabu was ridiculous? Pierce Austin, one of the greatest in the, I mean, once you put that shit over on TV, people are like, who the fuck is Pierce? Holy shit, Google. And then I'm so, okay, wow, he must be somebody if they bring it, you must be somebody if they bring your name up. That's all it is, man. Even if fans didn't know him, and I put it over on TV from a Jim Ross, a fucking John Moxley, or fucking, and you're standing there with Jericho, people come like, oh, he has to be somebody because they ain't gonna bring in nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I completely get it, and look, I think he's the biggest name in the he's very, as I said, he's probably one of the bigger names on the independent circuit in the US. So yeah, it makes sense. AEW is majority of their guys are like indie guys that have just hit the lottery by going to AEW.
It's just something to pat on your resume, man. But we could go on and on and on about Nick Gage. And again, I have nothing against the gentleman. I just think from his past shit that he done, I just don't think that it was a smart thing for AEW to bring him on. And he's just going to fade away. He's going to have his moment of glory in AEW, whatever, if they bring him on a pay-per-view or if they do a massive angle. But I just think he's going to fade away.
I think Nick Gage, after seeing his interviews recently, he's definitely a sort of person which he's fucked up. He's made mistakes in his life. He's done shit and he's admitted to it. But again, he seems like now someone who is of a decent sound mind. Like you hear him talk in interviews where he's not, pardon me, where he's not in gimmick, where he's just being, Nick Wilson, and you hear him talking, and he sounds like he's actually a really decent, nice human being. But then people see the gimmick and they think, oh, this guy is like, fucking crazy, right? Like the same thing with New Jack. Like New Jack, probably the difference was New Jack was probably legitimately crazy for majority of his career and life, whereas Nick Gage, when you hear him talk, it's different as opposed to what it was like with New Jack. So I think there's definitely a difference there, and I think he's probably someone who's learned from a lot of his mistakes and probably holds a lot of regret with it.
Well, hey man, like I said, we could continue on and on. I mean, definitely we could definitely do another segment in regards to the Nick Gage situation, see the outcome of AEW, and see if that's something that they decide to keep. But again, he's a flash in the pan, and like I said, he's a legend in the independent circuit. But dude, at that note, man, I just rather just close it off right here and then and just keep pushing forward, man.
All right, let's do it, baby. Won't you thank those sponsors, Angel?
Hey, I want to thank smartcups.com for definitely giving us their support to promote their massive and great product that definitely gives me the energy to, what is it? SDK all day, baby.
SDK, MDK all day, baby.
No, or maybe SSCK, whatever. But smartcups.com, one of the greatest beverages out there. Doesn't give me a hard crash. Definitely keeps me going to stay up all day to do these beautiful podcasts for you people. So if you definitely want to get your fix on and want to get your workout in and don't want the preservatives, check out smartcups.com and tell them the Kingpin sent you because it's Kingpin approved.
And why don't you cover that next one for us, Angel?
I'd never heard of this company before. MWA MWA Podcast, one of the newest and one of the greatest podcasts out there, man. You can definitely see my show, Killing the Business, along with Mega and Glenn Sexton. Also, you can definitely see, oh my God, well, dude, it's early in the morning, man. But I got
shooting the shit uncensored, baby.
No, I was gonna say Gay Funk, man, with Allen, and shooting the shit with Pierce Austin, and the Knights of the Gimmick Table. One of those guys that I know for many years that definitely got a lot of great stories. So if you want to also get your fix with the Kingpin and also Pierce Austin and some new guys that you never heard of, definitely. Well, no, you heard of them because they were in ROH, but definitely check out MWA Podcast Network because you ain't gonna regret it, baby. It's awesome. I sound like the guy.
And that's it, guys. We are Wrestling with Tragedy. We are the crack investigation unit for the Russo's brand. You make sure you tune in every single week live on patreon.com/RussoTWC. Check out russosbrand.com for Wrestling with Tragedy and other amazing, amazing podcasts with guys like Ben Hameen, Stevie Richards, Stevie Ray, Big Vito LaGrasso, the man himself, Vince Russo, Goldilocks, the beautiful people. The list goes on and on, Angel. But, Angel, it's time for us to take us home. Let's do it.
Peace out.